What if copyright was reverted all the way back to the 1790s? Let's look at history. When copyright first came out in the United States, it lasted 14 years, with the option to renew for another 14, making 28 years total. That was actually pretty similar to patents, which were designed to give inventors a temporary monopoly before their ideas entered the public domain. But while patents stayed relatively short, copyright kept getting longer and longer. Eventually, it stretched into the massive terms we know today, often lasting for the life of the creator plus decades after their death. And a lot of people blame companies like Disney for pushing to keep famous characters protected for as long as possible. So what would happen if copyright suddenly went back to that original 1790s style term? First, libraries, bookstores, streaming platforms, and local shops would be absolutely packed with adaptations. Stories that are currently locked away for generations would suddenly become available for anyone to remix, remake, translate, restore, or reimagine. Second, Disneyland's and Universal-style parks would probably start popping up everywhere. If classic characters, rides, and worlds entered the public domain much faster, smaller companies could build their own versions without needing permission. Third, Disney and other major studios would lose exclusive control over many of their most valuable characters much sooner. That doesn't mean their official versions would disappear, but it does mean they would no longer be the only ones allowed to use them. Fourth, people would absolutely start making adult, horror, and parody versions of childhood content. Imagine cozy cartoon icons suddenly showing up in slasher movies, dark comedies, or weird indie games. Fifth, the opposite would happen too. Creators might start making children's versions of adult horror, crime, or action properties, turning terrifying stories into plush toys, cartoons, and bedtime books. Sixth, people would create holiday overlays for everything: video games, theme park rides, cartoons, movies, and public events. Halloween versions, Christmas versions, Valentine's Day versions, all made without waiting for corporate approval. On the surface, this sounds like every content creator's dream: more freedom, more remixing, more creativity, and a much bigger public domain. But the reality would also be pure chaos. Brands would fight to stay recognizable. Audiences would be flooded with competing versions of the same characters. Some projects would be brilliant, some would be shameless cash grabs, and some would probably ruin childhood memories forever. A shorter copyright term could unlock culture, but it would also completely change how entertainment works.